G'day two-wheel adventurers. In this video I'm out once again on the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 and I'm putting it to the test the only way that I know how, with an epic 3-day adventure loop around northern New South Wales and southeast Queensland. The route that I have planned has absolutely everything, from the beach to the bush, scenic trails and challenging trails, plenty of wildlife, some epic lookouts and a couple of beautiful camp spots along the way. It's set to be the perfect ride to test the capabilities of the Himalayan 450 in this world of adventure riding. Plus it's a great excuse for me to get out and have a good time exploring this beautiful area. So come along for the ride guys to see if the little Royal Enfield can get the job done, and stick around to find out how you can get your hands on this awesome adventure route so you can have your very own adventure. Let's go. G'day two-wheel adventurers, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well as usual. My name's Josh guys, and if you're interested in your motorcycle adventure, you've come to the right place. This channel's all about motorcycle adventure guys, everything from bike reviews, gear reviews, tips and tricks, how-to videos, and of course those long adventures. So if any of that interests you guys, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love for you all to stick around. Now obviously guys, as you can see right here, I'm out again on the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. If you are already a subscriber to the channel, you may have seen my previous video on this bike, and I did show a little bit of a crash I had on this thing. Now that plan, when I set out on that ride that day, was to be a 3-day adventure and put this bike to the proper test of an adventure over 3 days, but it was cut short with a little bit of a crash on my part. Banged up the bike, banged up myself, but I'm back out here again a few weeks later, ready to give it all another crack. So today guys, we're starting this adventure here on the beach. This is Shark Bay Beach, just northeast of Grafton on New South Wales north coast. Beautiful day here guys, nothing but blue skies. It looks absolutely amazing, so I can't wait to jump on this thing and get this adventure underway guys. It's going to be awesome. I got about 2.5–3 days of adventure on this bike, proper camping, everything. It should be a really great test for this bike and really tell me by the end of the 3 days if this thing is adventure worthy. But with all that out of the way guys, there's nothing left to it. I'm going to jump on this bike. Let's have some fun in the sand before we start heading towards the bush, get into this adventure. Doesn't get much better than beach riding guys. It's all hard packed now, so tide's on its way out by the looks of things. Can't get off down that end, so gonna have to just turn around and head back this way. Go the little Enfield. Woohoo!
So after having a bit of a play around on the beach, it was time to set off. I had a camp spot in mind for the night along the Boyd River, just off Old Glen Innes Road. Old Glen Innes Road was built back in the 1800s and is a great trail for adventurers. It's surrounded by steep escarpments and ridgelines. It's an awesome area to explore, so I couldn't wait to get there. But before I could worry about setting up camp for the night, I had some kilometres to cover first. I had a route planned out that would see me pass through some beautiful farmlands and countryside, as well as some forestry areas before passing through Grafton to grab some fuel and supplies for the night. Most of the route was all new to me, so I had my fingers crossed and was hoping not to find any dead ends.
Man, it's beautiful out here, so green. How good is this? This is adventure riding folks, wow. They've definitely had some rain out here as well.
As I made my way through these beautiful farmland areas, I found myself going a little slower than usual, just due to the tyres that come on the Royal Enfield. But I wasn't even fazed by it. It forced me to slow down and take in the wonderful views for a change. I passed over a couple of creeks on my way through the area, and I took note of how high the water levels seemed to be, but little did I know that I was soon to be stopped in my tracks due to the amount of rain the area had received recently. I began venturing into the local forestry area, hoping that I could make it out the other side.
Beautiful state forests, pine plantations, lovely. So here we go, getting through here. Just don't want to come across mud. These tyres, as soon as they hit mud, they are slicks and I won't get through or I won't get out, one of the two. This is beautiful in here, how good. Hey cows. Oh, hi little baby one. Don't run little guy. Stay there. Oh, everywhere. Little crossing. This track doesn't see too many vehicles by the looks of it. This is such a good ride through here, guys. I'm absolutely loving every single second of this. Just cruising through here, loving it. Just something about getting on the bike, just going for a ride. There's really nothing else to think about but the actual riding and the destination. It just simplifies everything. Clears the mind. It's so bloody good, guys. So get out there at every opportunity that you can and enjoy yourself, because this is awesome. Wow. I just said that and oh no. What is this? Holy dooly. Sportsman's Creek is not just a creek, it is an absolute river. Oh no. The track goes through this gate, but if that's the water I'm dealing with, I've got to head across that way at some point, so isn't happening, guys. Holy dooly. Damn it. Well, I never like backtracking, but I guess I did say that that track out was nice. But well, anyway guys, that is the end of this track. I'm gonna have to backtrack out of here. I don't think there's another option to get out of this section. It's pretty much the only trail on my map that goes out, so yeah, it's not gonna happen, unfortunately. Damn.
So guys, unfortunately I had to backtrack out and head around this flooded section. The water over the track wasn't super deep, but as I've already mentioned, once these tyres hit mud, they're pretty useless, so I wasn't confident in sending it through this long section of water, especially while I'm out here on my own. It was only a short backtrack out, and then it was blacktop back to the original route and into Grafton. I loaded up with fuel and some other supplies for the night under the stars, and then I set my aim on Old Glen Innes Road and a camp spot on the Boyd River. So the Boyd River feeds into this river, which is the Nimboida River. And as I made my way over the Buckarumby Bridge, it was apparent that there was a lot more water around than usual. I was just hopeful that my campsite wasn't going to be underwater. A few more kilometres up the track, I found my entry to the camp spot, the last little challenge for the day.
Right, last little bit. Royal Enfield. Whoa! I nearly fell over just there. Let's not do that. Obviously the camera will make this look flat. It's not super hard, but when you got road tyres, it's a bit scary. There we go. Done it. Ooh, beauty. Much better off the main road.
I found myself a beautiful grassy spot by the river and got to setting up. After an awesome day of adventuring, it's always great to be rewarded with a campsite that's this perfect. I settled in for the night, ready for the following day, which was set to have its own challenges and a few unknowns. Hey Two Wheel Adventurers, a quick interruption here, but if you guys want to come on an adventure ride with me, then listen up. I'm teaming up again with the legends from Endeavour Motorcycle Tours to kick off their adventures for 2025 on their Waterfall Run Tour, and the legends at Endeavour have an awesome offer for all of you. I recently went along on one of their tours, which you may have seen on the channel already, and I had myself an absolute blast, so you can expect more of the same on this tour. We will be checking out some of the hidden gems along the New South Wales mid-north coast, including a bunch of amazing waterfalls, mountaintop lookouts, a bunch of history, and some of the best adventure bike trails along the east coast. This is a fully guided tour, guys, so it's as easy as turning up with your bike and a sense of adventure, and the team at Endeavour will sort out the rest. It's set to be an awesome weekend of adventure, and I personally cannot wait. Now the team at Endeavour have set up a discount code for all of you two-wheel adventurers that want to come along. Make sure you use the code JB10 at checkout for a 10% discount on this tour. The ride is being held from 31st of January to the 2nd of February, starting in Wauchope, New South Wales. I'll leave a link below in the description of this video to Endeavour Motorcycle Tours website, where you can get some more information on the tour and also book your spot on what will be an amazing weekend of riding. Now spots are limited guys, so make sure you get in quick if you are wanting to come along. I really hope to meet a bunch of you there guys and explore the Mid-North Coast together, so make sure you use that code JB10 at checkout, save yourself some money, and I'll see you guys there. Let's go. Alright, now back to the video. Day 2 was an early rise for no other reason except for the noisiest cicadas I have heard in my life, so shout out to cicadas, but it was a foggy start to the morning, a quick breakfast and pack up, and I was back on board the Himalayan. The morning would see me heading over the mountain ranges of Dalmorton and Newton Boyd. Normally it would be a scenic ride following the river along Old Glen Innes Road, but due to some track maintenance at the famous Dalmorton Tunnel, the road was closed further ahead. I had to be a bit more creative with my route here to get around the closure, but I wasn't 100% sure if I could get through on this route that I had mapped out, but I was willing to find out. If I was successful on making it to the top of the mountain range, it looked to be a pretty rapid descent to join back up to Old Glen Innes Road, and then from there I'd be off to a pretty spectacular lookout before heading through Glen Innes and onto some back roads where I would make my way north to Sundown National Park, an area that I've always wanted to visit.
It is steep. Holy crap, that is a massive snake right there. Go back and look at that first. Really ran over him. I don't know what kind of snake it is. So I'm not going to go near the thing. He's having a good morning. But go the Himi.
The ride up into the ranges was easy enough, slowly but surely climbing up from around 150 metres above sea level to around 800 metres, but the further I ventured along these trails, the less used the tracks began to look. I came across plenty of cattle up in this area. They were almost around every bend it felt.
Guys, I'm devastated. Just got here to a gate and thought I'd quickly check on my straps. I've lost one of my pluggers. I'm down a thong. Damn it. So if any of you ride this track after me, you find a blue Haviana, a blue and black Haviana, it's mine, alright? Damn it.
But soon enough, it was time to start the descent. I was a little nervous with how steep it appeared on the map, and I didn't have a lot of faith in these tyres, but off I went anyway.
But if you guys can see on camera through there, you can see some greenery way down the bottom. That'd be the bottom of this hill, sort of where the level of the river would be. So I'm heading down there in not too long. You guys can see the screen, all of that straight down to Old Glen Innes Road. Whew.
So I started the journey down, and it was actually a lot more manageable than what it appeared to be on the map, at least at the start anyway. The camera of course never shows just how steep these tracks actually are, but as I went further down the hill they did get a little bit steeper, but it was still manageable. The goal was just to not let the bike get away from me, just keeping it in a low gear and trying to let the engine do most of the braking for me. The worry that I had was if I needed to get on the brakes hard, that these tyres were just going to slide, and I didn't want to let that happen. Eventually though, the descent was over, I popped out into this beautiful green paddock and I got back on the original route. The detour had been a success.
is it. Narrow Pass Fire Trail. Tommy's Rock Lookout. That's what we're going to. Got this little town, this is not a town, this area is called Die Hard on the map, so that's anything to go off.
So this right here is Narrow Pass Trail. Now this trail is the way up to Tommy's Rock Lookout, which in my opinion is one of the best lookouts in New South Wales. It's a pretty easy climb that goes for around 4 kilometres, so most riders will be able to get this one done. I was having an absolute blast on the little Himalayan on my way up, getting a little bit of air off these erosion mounds, but I did end up finding the suspension's limit a time or two. After all that fun of climbing up the mountain, I made it up to Tommy's Rock Lookout, and man, isn't it spectacular.
Thanks, mate.
Now I didn't expect to see anyone up at Tommy's Rock Lookout, but I met a Parks and Wildlife Ranger who was doing some work in the area, and we had a little bit of a chat, and he ended up putting me onto a cool route that would take me into Glen Innes. I forgot to ask his name, but he was an absolute legend, so a big thanks to him. But originally I had planned to head back down the mountain and take the blacktop to town, but a little bit of local knowledge goes a long way out in these areas. He said that I should be fine to get through on his route as long as there's no downed trees. We wouldn't read about it, but shortly down the track I found such a thing. And of course it was halfway up a steep, shaly, rocky climb, the perfect place for a downed tree.
Oh, hopefully I can fit under it there. Oh, it's going to be an effort.
Lucky for me, I was on the little Himalayan. It was short enough for me to be able to fit the bike underneath this down tree relatively easy. With any other taller bike, I think it might have been a little bit more difficult to get those bars underneath the tree. This section of track was easily the steepest that I did on this whole trip. It was a bit of a struggle to get traction from a standing start on this hill, but with a bit of persistence, I eventually got it done. The short seat height on the Himalayan definitely helped me out in this section.
Doing on the road, mate. Get run over. Go on. I don't want you to run at me. Go. You did not care. No wonder you guys get hit. Go off the road.
I'm super happy that I took the advice from the Parks Wildlife Ranger. This route ended up being a great ride into Glen Innes. I loaded up with fuel and had some lunch in town before I was off once again. When adventure riding, it's inevitable that you'll end up on a stretch of blacktop at some point, but the little Himalayan being so comfortable actually made these sections half enjoyable. I knew most of the trails for the rest of the day would be open and flowing, so I could make up for some of that lost time that I got on the slower tracks in the morning.
Just pulled up here on the side of the track for a little break. About to continue on, but this would be a beautiful camp spot right next to the creek. A little bike that could, getting the job done. The Royal Enfield. She's looking filthy, dusty, muddy, but still going. Down at the Mole River very shortly. First I've got to get my way out of here. There you go.
So this right here is the entrance to Sundown National Park. It's a one-way in, one-way out section of the park, but as you can see here, it was a beautiful ride in along some open plain sections with the mountains of the park off in the distance.
Sundown National Park. Here we go. I just reached back again, I couldn't feel my chair. Already got no bloody thongs for tonight. Just gonna make sure we've got somewhere to sit. Hey man. Didn't think I'd see anyone. Nearly ran over my chair.
Now I only had around 20 kilometres left to go before camp, but these last 20 kilometres were some of the worst teeth-chattering trails that I'd ridden in a long time. If anything was loose on the bike, these tracks would no doubt let me know. I made a quick detour to a lookout called Red Rock Gorge, a couple of minutes walk from the bike. Not the greatest lookout by any stretch, but some cool landscape nonetheless. After this, I made a beeline for camp as the day was getting on. There was a couple of challenges left to go through to get to camp, but nothing that I and the little Himi couldn't get through. I was treated to some awesome views up on top of the mountain ranges before I descended down towards the creek where I would finish the day. This is what the Himalayan 450 was designed for, guys. The 5-wood getter.
Beautiful setup here, guys. Beautiful spot. I guess that rocky road on the way in was kind of worth it. There's no one else around at all. Place absolutely to myself. I've got everything on the table over there, so the table was a good choice. I'm happy with that. I've got the tent drying as well over there and on the bike just there. It was super wet from this morning, so I'm just giving it 20-30 minutes to hopefully fully dry out before I put it up, and then hopefully tomorrow morning it'll be dry when I pack it up and I don't have to worry about drying it when I get home. But I've already had a swim. I feel so much better, refreshed, ready to go. The only thing is I have no thongs, so I'm just rocking some socks for the night to keep my feet clean, and then these socks will probably just have to go in the bin when I get home tomorrow. But what can you do?
Today had been a pretty long day on the bike, so I was fairly wrecked from the whole day. Once camp was set up though, I got some food into me and I just chilled out by the fire for a few hours before heading off to bed pretty early. But shortly after heading off to bed, I was woken up by some commotion outside my tent. So day 3 was set to be a shorter day for me. I had to be back home by mid-afternoon, so there would be a little bit of blacktop involved. But as I've already said through this video, the little Himalayan handles like a dream on road, so it wasn't going to be too bad. I'd make my way out of Sundown National Park and head for Stanthorpe before beelining it towards Killarney in hopes of riding the Condamine River Gorge track. Now the Condamine River Gorge track is an amazing ride, and if you haven't done it before, you definitely should. But the reason I was hopeful was because of the amount of rain that had happened earlier in the week. I knew that there was a very high possibility that the road could be closed. I'd just have to wait and see when I got there. But I was up nice and early, got everything packed up, back on the bike and into it.
Now that's a massive bummer, guys. Road closed. Now this is one of the final tests on the way home for me today for the little Royal Enfield. This is Condamine River Road, so the Condamine Gorge, as you can see straight ahead there. Beautiful ride through here, multiple creek crossings, most of them are concrete causeways, so reasonably easy. But the reason I did this ride in the route that I did, starting on the coast coming back this way, is because I thought this was a possibility. If I left on day 1, we had a lot of rain. I was pretty certain this road would be shut, and we're 2 days later and this sign still says shut. So the creeks in here do fill up pretty quickly around this catchment area. They can get up pretty high, so I won't take this sign lightly. I'm tempted to creep down just to look at the first crossing. Not that I'm going to ride this road. If it says closed, it's closed. But I wouldn't mind just looking at the first crossing just to see, so I can compare with the last few times I've been out here. But that's unfortunate. It's still a nice ride. Once I go back, you actually follow up over the ridge line around the side here, so it's a pretty picturesque ride. And to do it on the Royal Enfield, which is handling great on the road, it's probably not going to be a bad thing anyway. So we've got Watson's Crossing here, guys. This is just a concrete one, but every time I've come here, this has never had water on it, I'm pretty certain. So to see this one flowing already, like I could ride it across this, no worries, it's not deep at all. But if this one's flowing like this, there's a few others up further in the middle that aren't concrete, they're just rocks. So this one's flowing, those ones up there are probably well deep, probably not doable anyway. So we'll flick around, we'll head back up into the mountains and take the the picturesque route, not the hardcore off-road route, but it's definitely a nice ride. So guys, I've been crisscrossing the border of New South Wales and Queensland a few times this morning. I'm on the New South Wales side again. I've just come from that side in Queensland. As you can see, pet rabbits are illegal in Queensland. But I've come through here a bunch and I've always wondered what this house here is. It's Border House on the map. Everyone just calls it Border House. But I was just curious if it has a meaning. Like, is it an actual border house? Like someone had to stay here to man the borders or something? I don't know, or maybe someone just used to live right here, right on the border, but no one lives here currently. So if you know the story, let me know, because I have not heard of if there's an actual story, but just curious. But some of the best countryside around here. It's absolutely beautiful out here. It's in reach of a day ride from the Gold Coast, so if you haven't already, guys, come out here and check out White Swamp area, Condamine River Gorge. Come and have a look at the border house, because I don't know what the deal is. But anyway, onwards. Hey guys, so when did you move in? Get it? Tough crowd. Well, this wasn't part of my day.
So because the Condamine River Gorge track was closed, I decided to throw in one last track on the way home to test out the Royal Enfield. I knew that there would be some mud involved on this track with all the recent rains, and these tyres were once again going to be out of their comfort zone. But it's a great track to finish this trip, so I couldn't wait to get stuck right in. Now this track always has a few challenging sections. I guess that's why I like it so much, but I just kept the Himalayan in a low gear and just kept chugging along up the hill. I did get caught out in a couple of little spots, but me and the bike, we just kept making our way forward.
Oh, damn. God.
I was very cautious picking my way through any muddy sections that I came across, just so I didn't get the bike stuck. The climb felt like it just kept on going forever, but I really didn't mind. I was having too much fun on this little bike, and I knew once I made it to the top, the adventure on the little Royal Enfield was coming to an end.
How good is that? How good is this freaking bike? We've done it. Royal Enfield. Yes.
So that's it, two-wheel adventurers. Unfortunately, this trip has finally come to an end. The past 3 days have been amazing out on the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. I've had an absolute blast. The trip had a little bit of everything, all different types of track conditions. It really, really was a fun time. I won't give anything away here just yet of what I think of this bike, guys. If you want to know all my thoughts on the bike, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, make sure you get subscribed to the channel because I will be putting out a full review video very shortly on this bike. So a quick couple of shout outs, guys, to the legends that made this happen. Thanks to Royal Enfield firstly, thanks to Mel for getting me the bike for a couple of months, and thanks to Robbie from MX Store for putting me in contact with the right people to make this happen. I'm really appreciative of this opportunity to have this bike for the last couple of months, and I definitely won't forget it, so thanks, guys. So this is where I leave you, two-wheel adventurers. Thanks so much for sticking around. Make sure you get subscribed, as I said, to see a full review video. Like this video if you did enjoy this adventure, and be sure to jump down into the description below this video. Jump over to my website. You want to support the channel there with some merch. You can get the GPX file from this ride or any other rides that I got. And a special mention to Krieger, guys, all the way up until the end of December. You guys can save yourself 5% on any of the Krieger gear. You can get anything here that I'm using. I've got the OS bags on the back there. I've got their Trail 18 backpack down on the bottom. But I've been using Krieger gear for the last 3 years and I absolutely love it. So they've got a code JOSHJB. If you guys want to use that at checkout all the way up until the end of December, you can save yourself 5%. So if you want to get yourself an early Christmas present, jump over to krieger.com.au, guys, and sort yourselves out. But that's enough for me, guys. Time to get back on this bike, get it home and give it a good wash. Definitely needs it. Thanks for sticking around. Ride safe out there on your own two-wheel adventures. See you in the next one.